Hello and welcome to another YouTube video in the moon sign series. This time I'm going to be doing moon in Capricorn. Now, moon in Capricorn is an interesting moon placement because it's perhaps one of the most detached moon signs in my experience alongside Aquarius moon. I mean, Scorpio moon can be seen detached as well, but there's always this like sort of magnetic and charismatic vibe that's associated with Scorpio moon, so you can always sense. But with Capricorn and Aquarius moon, they're pretty emotionally closed off. And so Capricorn moon in general is in its detriment in the natal chart. So that means that it's not functioning as well as its opposite sign Cancer, which is at its home. And it's because Capricorn doesn't like emotions. Capricorn is not the sign that deals with emotions well. In my experience, a lot of Capricorn moons tend to be very, very closed off emotionally, and they're not really that emotionally open at all. And it's because they don't like emotions. They think emotions are messy and disgusting and they just get in the way. They're not really practical. They're a very serious and like realistic sign, being cardinal earth, which means that they're going to be, while also being very realistic, they're also going to be wanting to get things done because that cardinal nature is about moving forward and progress and everything like that. So emotions are not necessarily realistic in the sense that like they function in the same way as reality does. Emotions are weird. They're like different. They don't act the same way. Like emotions are such an energy and inner sort of thing, and depending on how we react to certain situations, it's like our own internal defense system and whatnot at times. And because they function so differently from reality that we from the reality that we're dealing with, Capricorn moons find them just completely in the way, completely impractical, and just generally not good for anything. They're just fucking annoying to them. They think the emotions are bad, so they repress them. They don't like dealing with them. And this comes out a lot in the way they deal with things. A lot of times, Capricorns and moons and Aquarius moons are known for the same thing because they're traditionally ruled by Saturn, and Saturn and emotions don't mix well. Saturn is the planet that just comes in and says, well, I don't give a fuck how you feel. I'm just gonna come in and just fucking bulldoze over everything. And like, Pluto can be that way too, but Saturn's like more of like the strict grandfather teacher, as we know in astrology. So that's kind of how they fucking deal with the outside world. They tend to come across as realists. They always are like trying to focus on reality. They always want to be like, they're always so emotionally cut off, and they're focused on realistic and practical things. Like they're not really emotional at all. They can come across as robotic often, a lot of the time, because of how their emotions are like completely repressed. And it's not that like Scorpio moon's like trying to hide their feelings so that they're not vulnerable. It's because Capricorn moon's emotions are gross. So they repress them a lot because they get in the way of many things, and so they come across as robotic, as like I said. If they're the humorous type, they're definitely gonna have that sort of deadpan humor, because just like dry and like humor that's completely unemotional. Cap moons, in that sense, they're also going to be the type of moon sign that like is necessarily not going to be the greatest in the emotional scene. Like when you're fucking having a fucking major ass breakdown because of some situation where you thought like you were married to someone and they fucking like went off and cheated on you and completely behind your back and everything, you had no fucking idea, and then all of a sudden you're being abused and everything over it, fucking some hypothetical complicated situation like that. Capricorn is definitely not going to be the type of person that's going to like comfort you, make you feel good, and tell you everything's going to be okay when you're fucking having an emotional breakdown. No. When emotional scene, Capricorn moons really don't like emotional scenes. They are messy, like they said. And so like when it comes to like a really messy emotional scene, they kind of just like have like literally no fucking idea what they're supposed to be doing. They're kind of just like, what the hell do I do now? Oh god, like this much emotion is just coming at me and I have no fucking idea how to deal with it. And Aquarius moon's the same way, because they're both ruled by Saturn, traditionally. Because they're ruled by Saturn, as I said, they're emotionally restricted and all of that. However, when it comes to the advice they're giving you, what they will do is they'll give you practical, realistic advice that you can use to fix the problem. They're problem solvers. They hate people who fucking are pity parties. They hate people who don't do anything about their problems. They hate that. They don't like it, because Capricorn's always trying to fucking move forward. They're always trying to get somewhere. They're always trying to be realistic about things. Let's find the most practical solution to fix the problem, get it fixed with, don't have to deal with it anymore. But no, like when people are like dealing with emotional problems and stuff, and people refuse to fix it, that irritates them. They hate that. They want they just want it to be like, they want people to fix their own fucking problems, don't just fucking want them playing the pity party. They don't like that. However, ironically enough, some Capricorn moons can be prone to playing the pity party, even though it's common for Capricorn moons to hate being pitied. It's really weird. Like, they'll if there's something Capricorn moons suffer the most from, it's from depression, because of their repressed emotions. And it's that sort of depression where, like, it's not so much the type that's like everything's completely shit and everything. It's just like the type where everything's just like dead. There's like nothing. Life is passionless. There's like no life to anything. Everything's boring. Everything's bland. Like, sort of depression where everything just is completely and utterly meaningless and has no value to it at all. And so they can be swallowed up in this depression, and that can like sort of like feed back into why they play the pity party. If the Capricorn moon does play the pity party, which, funny enough, I've heard lots of people say for Capricorn moons, I feel like Capricorn moon is especially sensitive to depression, and if they're like somewhere in their life where they're having a really rough time, they're not really going anywhere, that's actually gonna fuel their depression and make it even worse. So they're just gonna like feel like, because of how practical, realistic they are, just kind of like admit to themselves that they're never gonna go anywhere, and they're just gonna be a failure for the rest of their life. That just kind of like builds up on them, and they kind of just like stay that way. Because Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign, as I said before. They need progress. They're realistic. They need to be realistically doing things and achieving stuff. They need to be out in the world fucking making progress, doing something, moving forward, getting achievements and stuff. Achievements are especially important to them. They need to be ambitious. That's what they are. They're ambitious people. And if a Capricorn moon feels like that they've nothing that they've done for them, it might kick them into the cycle that they're never going to do anything, and they're just going to be a complete failure for the rest of their life. And that's what beats them down. Essentially, Capricorn moons may be prone to beating themselves down anyway. If they're already depressed, they're just going to keep going down, because they're already so hard on themselves, being in its detriment. They expect so much out of themselves to be going forward and doing stuff, that they kind of like put themselves down anyway. To like get a Capricorn moon out of depression, you really need to push them to like do something, get them into something, make them work hard for something, even if it's something they may not necessarily enjoy doing. Like put them into like a blue-collar job, for instance, where they can work continuously hard and like hope to get somewhere. And because like that kind of like work environment will just like stimulate them more and make them feel more dedicated to their work and more motivated and more ambitious, so they feel like they can take this job that they have, fucking go somewhere with it and work really, really hard towards it. That's what I feel like is essential to like help get a Capricorn moon out of their depression, because like I said, they're supposed to be an ambitious sign. If they feel like they haven't done anything, it's just going to push them down even more. Now, Cap moons, if they tend to be more evolved, they tend to be quite, make lots of achievements and stuff and known as hard workers, and I haven't had that much experience with Capricorn moons myself, so I can't really say, but I've known other people with strong Capricorn placements that are like Cap Suns and stuff. They like work a lot. Like I know this one that works at XL Energy, and they'll work for like fucking 2 weeks straight, every fucking day of the fucking week, and like will constantly work overtime and constantly purposely do as much work as they fucking can, and then they'll like fucking have like a giant part of time where they can just like take a couple of weeks off and relax from work before they go back to work and do it all over again. Because I feel like that in itself is very, very sort of Capricorn like behavior, because they're just so motivated to like move forward and like get as far as they can and do as much as they can, so that when they finally get to where they need to be, the reward that they've been trying to go after will be right there for them. They'll have it, they'll get it, and like it'll be as good as they wanted it to be. That's what Capricorn does. Capricorn moon might be the type of people that like are prideful of their achievements. Like they're always going to be the type of person that's like, they'll purposely want to take the hard way of doing something because they feel satisfaction in that achievement. And this can also be why in this detachment, because they purposely choose the hardest path, and that can get you into some really ugly situations. But like it makes them feel good knowing that they overcome challenges in their life like that. So they tend to like always be like, oh, I went through some really hard stuff and I overcame it, and they'll just like fucking take delight in telling you about them overcoming their struggles. But it's different from like, it's not like an ego thing necessarily, because like Leo moon, like Leo, not Leo moon, but like Leo in general has to do with the ego, and it's more about like basking in it. For Capricorn, it's like they're just like they feel happy, and just like they feel like they feel worthful. They feel like they have value, they have worth, they have use. They feel like that they have a purpose. Like that's why they take such big pride in it. Most of the time Capricorn moon gets depressed because they feel like they have no place in the world, and because Capricorn is such a realistic, practical sign, feeling like that they're not valuable to others, and this, or like feel like they have an important place in reality as it is, can really drag them down, as I said. So to kind of like recap over Capricorn moon, one of the most emotionally detached moon signs of all tend to come across very robotic, very unemotional, very emotionally repressed, because like it's not like Scorpio where they're trying to control their emotions. It's Capricorn. They're earth sign. Earth signs are logical. They're gonna repressing their emotions. They're the type of people that might have dry humor at times, whether they intentionally do it or not. And if they do, they, like I said, dry humor, deadpan, everything like that. They always feel like they have a lot of ambition. They want to go somewhere. They need to like be moving somewhere and going somewhere far in their life to feel like that they've made some kind of like achievement emotionally. They feel like they need to they're very prone to depression and like laziness because of the depression, because they feel like that everything's just meaningless to them. And so this kind of like they being already so hard on themselves and expecting so much out of them because they want to be able to do lots of things in the world, can catapult them down the hill of depression. But at the same time, it can also help them achieve very, very important things in life and go forward and do a whole lot that most other people would like give up on. Like Capricorn moon can keep going because they're pushing themselves so hard as it is, but at the same time, then you be careful, because their depression, like when they're in their depressive moods and they're like depressed, they can also be just as hard on themselves, and that can push them downhill really bad. And so tend to take pride in their achievements, and they tend to be happy about the things they've done and everything and so forth. Very realistic, grounded earth placement for the moon. And so with that, that's all I have for Moon and Capricorn. If you're a Capricorn and you watch this, I hope you found something useful out of it. If you did, great. If you like this video, like it. If you want to see more videos, check out my channel. I got 2 other videos up, but you can watch those too if you want. Whatever. I hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.